Hello, welcome to my channel. You can find the worksheet below this video. Let's start our lesson.
Try to find the value first. Okay, let's do together. The first one is negative 3 to the power of negative 2. And for this one, for the negative part, we need to move the position of 3. If it's on the top, we move it to the bottom. And for this part, we can change into negative, and we move to the bottom, and it's 3 and to the square, and in this way it's negative 1/9. Okay, and the next one is negative 7 squared times 8 to the power of negative 2. And for this one, and the first part, and for the 7, this is positive exponent, so we just write it negative 49 and the times, and for the second part is 8 to the power of negative 2, so we need to change into the bottom of the fraction, and then find out the squared is 64, and then we can put them together is negative 49/64. Number 3, and for this one the exponent is 0, and any number or expression raised to the power of 0 is always equal to 0. For example, if x 0, we can rewrite like x times x. So in this way, and for the top is we can rewrite in this way is x, and for 1, and divide x 1, and in this way is x 1 minus 1 equals x 0, and we know that x divide x is 1, so x to the power of 0 is 1. Okay, so obviously number 3 the value is 1, and for number 4 we know like the exponent is 0, so the value is 1, and then we can rewrite like minus 1 and raised to the power of 2, and then the result is 1. For number 5 is interesting, and for the 1, and for number 1, and no matter what's the exponent, the result is still 1, so this is 1, and for the 3 to the power of 0, we got is 1, and then for this part, and we need to move for this 2 to the power of negative 1, and we need to move, because this is negative 1, we need to move its position and from the bottom to the top, and then we need to time 2. So in this way, it's 2 times 2 equals 4. Try to simplify the exponents first. So in this way, this is a little bit complex, but we can do and for part 1 and part 2, and then we can times them together. And for part 1 we can cancel 4, and for the coefficient we get 8. And then we know like for the divide is for the exponent is subtract, and we got 2 subtract minus 8. And for b is negative 4 subtract negative 2. And then this is part 1 and time part 2. And for part 2, the coefficient. And the negative divide negative is positive. The coefficient is 8/3, and a and for to the square, and the b and is negative 3. Okay, and then we can get the 2 subtract negative 2, for the 2 subtract negative 8 is 10, and for the b is negative 4 subtract negative 2 is, so this is my negative 2, and times 3, and 8/3, and the a to the square, and the b to the power of 3. So we can time together. So the coefficient is 64 over 3, and then it's a 10 plus 2, and for b is negative 2 plus 3, and it equals to 64 over 3, and a to the power of 12, and b to the power of 1. So we don't need to write the 1 here, so we can erase it. Try to simplify the exponent first. Let's do it together. And for this part, we know like this is division, but we can solve the negative 3 and negative 2 first. When we know if the exponent is negative, so we change the position. So for this one is 10 times 8. Okay, so we just change the position and change the negative to positive, and then we distribute the power to each part. And then for the division, we know it's subtract for the exponent. So we got 640. And for the p is negative 6, subtract 9. And for the q, the exponent is 10, subtract 6. And for the r, it's 6 minus 6, subtract 0. And then we can get 640 and p to the power of negative 50, and for the q is to the power of 4 and r to the power of 6, because this exponent is negative 15, so we need to change into positive, so we put p at the bottom, so it's 640 q to the power of 4, r to the power of 6 over p to the power of 15. First, try to simplify the exponent first. Let's do it together. And first, we find we have two parts, and for the exponent, and for these two parts, one is negative, one is positive. The first, we need to distribute the exponent to each part, and we can get is minus 2 and to the minus 2, x negative 10, and y negative 6, for z negative 16. And then part 2 is negative 2 to the power of 3, and x to the power of 6, y to the power of negative 24, and z to the to the positive 36. And then for this, because this is times, so the exponent is for add, and we can do the negative 2 and minus negative 2 plus 3, and the x negative 10 plus 6, y negative 6 plus negative 4, and for the z negative 16 plus 36. And then we can get negative 2 to the power of 1, and x to the power of negative 4, 1 to the power of negative 30, and for z to the power of 20. And then we need to change these two negative to the positive, so we move them to the bottom, and we can get negative 2 for z to the power of 20, and over x to the power of 4, and y to the power of 30. Try to simplify this exponent first. Let's do it together. For this part, we have three parts, and we have one is time, and one is divide. So this is more complex, and we still do the same things as the previous problem. So the first we just distribute the exponent to each part, and then we will do them together. So the first part is the exponent is 1, so we don't need to do anything. So we just copy it. And for the second one is -2 to the power of -3, and for the a to the power of 6, because it's negative, and b to the power of -3, and divides. And for the -5, we have to the power of 2, and a to the power of 16, and b to the power of -18. And then we know like time is for the exponent is plus, and for divide for the exponent is subtract. Okay, and for the coefficient we have 5 times -3 to the power of 3, and then divides -5 and to the power of 2, and then we can find a is 3 plus 6, and then subtract 16, and for the b is 2 plus -3, and subtract -18, and then we can get 5 times -8, but this is the power is -1 to the 25, and for a we have 3 plus 6 is 9, and subtract 16 is -7, and for b is 2 times -3 is -1, and then plus 18 is 17, and then we can get, and we can cancel 5, and because this is -1, and we need to move the position from top to the bottom, and then this is -40, and a to the power -7, b to the power of 17, and then we change this exponent to the positive, so it's -40 and a, and for the top is b to the power of 17. For this one, I forgot 7. Okay.
Thank you for watching. If you like my teaching, please click the subscribe button. Please let me know your questions in comments.